Hey there folks, and welcome back for another video. And today we're going to use Catie's Bubbles Irish coffee. This is the 2-ounce size, and I bought it because I wanted to see how much difference there is between this and the old version, which was probably the greatest soap of all time, when it had the label Bailey's Irish Coffee and the Saints logo. This was the greatest soap of all time. This one, it's just okay. Just kidding. Anyhow, I bought this size to see how much difference there is. I didn't want to really buy a full tub. And the one thing I can tell you is on these luxury soaps, the texture of it is much more firm. So if Catie's Bubbles was too soft for you in the past, you may want to check out the luxury line, which is considerably more firm as far as consistency goes. I scooped some out and put it in the bowl here because this is a little too small to load from, and we'll load it and check this out and see how it's going. Yesterday I did my the rest of my top 10, well actually it was top 12 video, and I had mentioned when I got to two soaps at the shaving shop sells, who's Peter Charkelis, that boy, he's great to send those samples out. And that was a joke because many people over the years, for whatever reason, they feel compelled to ask Peter for free stuff. And so it was no time flat after the video went live that he'd had like 16 people already ask him for samples. And if you've watched Peter Charkelis' videos in the past, you will have known that he told people, I'm not sending out samples, you know. And so it is, guys, kind of bad form to ask people for things, particularly those you don't know. You know, if it's a really good friend or something, I can see maybe saying, hey, I'd like to try that. Although I don't ask, and I wouldn't. But to ask for stuff is just, it's kind of bad form. So anyway, no, Pete is not going to send you a bunch of free samples. He has sent a ton of free samples, and he made videos like, enough, I'm done with samples. And that was a tongue-in-cheek joke. But don't let that stop you from asking him if you want to. But you're not going to get him. Okay, let me wet the face and we'll get going. Pete is one of those guys. Peter, excuse me. I'll adjust my mirror, is one of those guys he's very generous. And he does far more than his fair share in terms of helping people and giving people things. And so no need to ask him unless you're joking, or if you just want to ask. You know, I'm not going to stop you from that. But anyway, wow, what a lather on this stuff. I mean, it's blowing up my neck here with lather. Smells great. This kind of smells like vanilla, coffee, a little, you know, Irish. It's a beautiful scent, which, like I pointed out before, at one time was the greatest of all time. That's tongue-in-cheek. It was good. I liked it. I drink Irish coffee, and so I used to drink it a lot on video, but I drink it in the cold weather. So that's coming up. But anyway, so originally Chris Cullen had made that soap, and he put my name on it, which was just nice of him to do. And then later he took it off and I was forsaken. And I'm very upset about that. No, not really. Not upset at all. His soap, it's still nice soap, and I say, do whatever the heck you want with your soap. And so, no hard feelings at all about that. I'm not that way, but I do like to give him a hard time about it because we bust balls and so on. So when I say I've been forsaken by Chris, I'm just busting balls. By the way, today I'm using a Delta Echo Super Speed, excuse me, and I got this from Phil Sylvester, which is a really nice guy. He had emailed me yesterday and said Maggard Razors has Sterling now, and I went and looked, and boy, they do. So you're going to see Sterling popping up on a lot lot of shelves now, which is outstanding. Good stuff. Super Speed's a nice mild shaver, and of course the Delta Echo's a wonderful treatment for a razor. This refinish. Phil didn't like this because, you know, he's got a really tough, dense beard. I do not. My whiskers are tough, but it's not dense, so a razor like the Super Speed works fine for me. Not so much for him. It's a little too mild for him, so I bought it from him. Yeah, very happy to have it. All right, so there's pass number 1. The soap was great. Really, really nice scent. Excellent performance. Stay tuned for pass 2. Yeah, really good performance on pass 1. Great scent. By the way, I did not bloom this soap, which is pretty old, more than 2 years old. My original one that I have there that I showed you, and it still has its scent. So I'm still convinced that in my situation, with my water, with my environment, and in the environment that I keep the soaps in, that getting too much moisture in those soaps just was not a good thing for me, at least in the environment that they're kept in here. I gotta tell you, this stuff lathers really, really easily. It is firm, like I said. It's very firm, this luxury line. But the lather is quite silky, I would call it. Just feels very silky. You can even feel it like when you're brushing it here. Just so soft and silky, which is what you want. And that's a little thicker than I like to go in the second pass, but I can't help it. Catie's Bubbles lathers so easily, get carried away. And so, you know, I did the video about reformulations a while back, and I can tell you that Catie's Bubbles is one of those soaps where there's a significant change. You know, you can even tell that, like I said, just by the consistency of the soap, which is much more firm. You can see a change in the ingredients, so, you know, that's something to look at if you're rebuying or about to run out or whatever, or just want to add a second type. As I mentioned in the video, I wouldn't go buy every reformulation from every artisan, but here you do have a significant change that I can vouch for. Definitely an upgrade, as far as I can tell. Very slick. I think I'm noticing increased slickness here for one. I don't know what would lead to that, or maybe it's been too long since I've used a Catie's Bubble soap, but it feels really, really slick. The razor just gliding. Of course, it does most days because all our equipment is great, but this one definitely feels outstanding. All right. So there's pass 2, another great pass, no complaints whatsoever. Stay tuned for pass 3. I'll upload this video this afternoon, because I don't really have time to do it this morning before I go to work. But we'll get it uploaded. By the way, a Wolf Whiskers TSE brush here, made by the great Peter Wolf, my favorite brush maker. My favorite brush makers are Rudy Vay and Peter Wolf. I just like their style and the way they, you know, their designs. I like Joff Anderson designs a lot too. They're very classy. Just very beautiful designs. Okay, little bit thinner on pass number 3 here. This is just a beautiful. Don't think black coffee when you think about the scent of this soap. If that has turned you off and you're like, I don't want a coffee scent, this is just a really pleasant, like I said, think of Irish coffee, which doesn't smell really So much like black coffee, it's got, you know, the whiskey in it, a little brown sugar, a little cream. This one is not a heavily coffee scented soap. It's just, to me, it's like almost like a vanilla type scent, which is just really nice in my opinion. And I do enjoy it. And this luxury formula has proven to be worth buying. I can tell you that right now. So great job, Chris. Screwed up the label, but the soap is still good. Yeah, guys, don't take everything that I say seriously. Sometimes I will have tongue-in-cheek jokes like the sample thing yesterday. And you sort of have to be involved or know what goes on in these forums to understand it. And I guess some folks aren't, so you wouldn't understand it. But I can't believe so many people just immediately started asking him for stuff. I was like, I mean, I figured a few would, but not that many that quickly. It's just crazy. You know, I was raised in a way where, you know, you did for yourself, and I'm not comfortable asking people for things. That I've had some hard times. Don't get me wrong. When I first started out, we had nothing. You know, I didn't come from a wealthy family, and you know, I joined up in the military quickly. Had a child, my choice, but I tell you, it was rough slatting. We didn't have any furniture. You know, we really had to scrape to make ends meet. Based on my income, I could have easily qualified for welfare, but I would not take it because I felt, you know, it's my responsibility. I'm not unable to do for myself. So anyway, we just figured it out, and that's what people often do. So even then, you know, I could have asked for help, but too proud. And sometimes that's a dumb thing, being too proud. And sometimes it builds character when you do it yourself. So anyway, tying it back in, I'm just not comfortable asking for things from people. And it always shocks me the amount of people who are very comfortable in doing so. You know, it's odd. Anyway, that was a fantastic pastry. Stay tuned for the post. All right, so the verdict on the, well, before we get to the verdict, let's use Thayer's because it's magic made by witches. The weather's starting to turn here. I actually had to turn on the heat, which I'm not happy about because it is down in the, I don't know, 40s. And that's enough to get it pretty cool down here in the basement. Although I like sleeping when it's on the cooler side, that's excellent. But not so much when you're up and taking a shower and so on when it's 40 some degrees. All right, so today we're going to use something very inexpensive. Pinaud Clubman Vanilla. It's a vanilla type aftershave. Inexpensive. Doesn't cost a lot. Hangs around a fair amount. Got a different, it's almost got a spiciness to it. But I find that it does a nice job. It won't hang around a super long time, but you know, it sticks around a little while. All right, let's review. Of course, you just saw the Pinaud Clubman Vanilla. Set that back there. Catie's Bubbles Irish Coffee in the luxury formula. Very, very good. Is it worthy of buying? Is it an improvement over this one? Yes, other than the label. No improvement on the label. This was a great label. But anyway, yeah. Texture, or excuse me, consistency-wise, the slickness seemed off the chart. The lather was fantastic. So yes, in this case, I find that the luxury formula is probably worth buying if you really like this scent and you want it in a different style. It's your choice, obviously. Gillette Delta Echo Super Speed. Beautiful job on that. Delta Echo does wonderful, wonderful work. And by the way, there's some residue on there, so that's not a fault of a Delta Echo, which I will soon get off with my trusty toothbrush. Wolf Whiskers brush. Beautiful Customs, one of the best brush makers out there in my opinion. Alright guys, thanks as always for watching, and remember, until next time, don't forget to ask Peter for those samples. Don't do it. And let's make America shave again.